Hey everybody, it's Shireen Vishmaya in Kerala, India, and I am with you feeling this building intensity leading up to the full lunar eclipse on Friday. So we're right in the throes of some pretty intense planetary energies, including the exact merger of Saturn and Pluto immediately after this eclipse on the 12th. So we could say the next few days are the fever pitch of what's been brewing for a while. I'm really grateful to be here in India, in the mother, Mother India, with the Divine Mother. So this mother archetype of the Cancer full moon definitely brought me here. And for those of you who are new to my work and my channel, this is my spiritual teacher, guru, the Divine Mother, Mata Amritchandamayi Devi, who is basically behind everything I do. Very indebted, very grateful to her influence in my life for the last 20 years. So this is really like my second home when I come here, and I try to get a deep immersion and infusion of all of the beautiful energy that is here. And it's actually a really good metaphor for, I think, what all of us are craving right now, which is a feeling of refuge, a feeling of nourishment, a feeling of safety, security, home. And it's imperative that we're resetting. Eclipses are resets. They're very powerful spiritually. They help us to get very clear about where we've been unconscious. It's like there's this aha moment that usually happens with eclipses because of the reset energy. You know, sometimes we need everything to kind of go dark. It's like when the power goes off and suddenly like you're with yourself. So you might have a pretty deep awareness about something you hadn't seen before. So in the Cancer part of your horoscope, especially around 20 to 22 degrees, there's a big activation happening right now. And Capricorn as well, because that's the polarity. So look to where you've got that. And the other big thing that's happening at the same time of this eclipse on Friday, Eris, the goddess of discordia, she likes to stir things up, and she cannot stand being ignored or being left out of the party, so to speak, is stirring things up because she's getting ready to go retrograde, and she's squaring Pluto. And that's going to be happening all year long. So that's a lot of intense energy around escalating conflict. So what I've been saying over the last couple of days is that this really feels like a time for us all to cool down, get very centered, and to avoid escalating conflict. We need that patience and integrity and deep sense of center so that we're not reacting, because if our emotional triggers get set off, we can react and cause more damage than healing. And that, I think, is sort of the warning of this eclipse energy, is how do we stop escalating situations emotionally, and how do we turn inward, cool down, get centered, and step back from the situation so that we're not triggered. This eclipse can really be an amazing tool for us, or if we use it, not a tool, but an opportunity, maybe is a better way to say it, to delve into a lot of shadow work that we've been avoiding. I mean, you know, I'm all about the shadow work if you watch my channel. And in fact, I'm right in the midst of a 7-day program called the Saturn-Pluto Dialogues. For those of you who work with me, I do these intensives online where we use astrology in a very experiential and lived way through this community and this really powerful sacred group I've created. So you can check out that work on my website if you'd like to get involved in future projects. But the one I'm doing right now, we're at day 6 right now, and we've been doing everything from working on mothering the shame, looking at shame as mirror, looking at shame as past selves. And today we're doing dreaming the shame, basically the shameless self. Like, what would it mean to extract or excavate all the shame so that we are really living in a different dream where we're not carrying shame around, where people can power trip us. We're only susceptible to that level of shaming, being shamed, if we carry shame. If we've forgiven ourselves and we're not carrying shame, people cannot shame us, and they cannot use power or fear to manipulate us. So it's really important work to do right now, to dig into where you're still holding on to past shame. And it's interesting because in developmental theory, psychologically, shame is very connected to age 1, between age 1 and 2, very young. This is from Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory, where between age 1 and 2, it's called the stage of autonomy versus shame and doubt. And this is all from like our toilet training. So it's where we learn how we're going to be in control, or where we feel out of control, or where we're shamed because we don't feel like we're able to master our own sense of autonomy. It's the like me do it phase, where we don't want any interference. We want to prove to ourselves we can do it. So it's very important we have those initial roots of autonomy. And if that didn't happen in our development, it can be really painful later on, and we can harbor a lot of shame. It can show up as like blushing or other kinds of involuntary responses, visceral responses. So this is an opportunity during this eclipse and during the Saturn-Pluto merger for all of us to see this in a different light. I would say for all of us to actually finally do that deep work we've probably been avoiding. I mean, it's like time is up, right? We're really feeling the pressure of time and how essential it is to save the world, that we work on, exercising our own demons. I don't mean exercise like treadmill exercise, like purge, like get in touch with our own fear, guilt, and shame. So it's a rite of passage right now. It's a crossroads. This eclipse is part of a much deeper story we've all been anticipating and talking about, and I think it's one of the reasons astrology has blown up recently, because we're all looking for guidance right now, because we can feel an enormous paradigm shift, monumental, epic paradigm shift, and it's messy. It's a lot of, like I've been saying, this dismantling of the patriarchy is, first it's going to feel like a disaster. It's going to require some destructive energy. I mean, this is the temple of Kali where I am. Kali is the goddess of destruction. So she is a fierce form of the goddess that is here to strip away our ego and our power complex, basically. She's here to really bring us down to a much more pure and vulnerable, true part of ourselves, but through a very fierce form, like through the heavy artillery. It's not like a light and fluffy spiritual bypassing kind of work. It's like go right into your ego and where you're beyond attached to your old stories and destructive tendencies in the mind and in the psyche and even in our habits. There's a big purification happening at this full moon. I notice a lot of people have been sick. During eclipse season, that's normal anyway, because our immune systems tend to plummet, or they're at least challenged and compromised, I guess is the word. Otherwise, people might be feeling a spiritual detox. I think it's happening on a physical level too. And this is a time to let go. And with Cancer, it's okay to cry. I mean, this is the time if you want to get in touch with your feelings. You've been holding back the tears. One thing Marianne Williamson, who, in her spiritual work, says, if you've got 200 tears to cry and you only cry 20, then you still have 180 tears left that need crying. So they're going to come out somewhere. And it's better to let the feelings flow, let the energy flow, the emotion flow, than to suppress, because that's when we get sick. And that's when we have, that's not the only reason we get sick, but that can definitely be a contributing factor. So this is a really essential time for all of us, I think, to look to where we need to strengthen our sense of autonomy. So if we go back to autonomy versus shame and guilt, if you err on the side, I shouldn't say err, it's not a judgment, but if you fall on the side of shame and guilt, what work will it require for you to get on the side of autonomy? What's it going to take to really reclaim your sense of self? And that's a big theme in 2020, because Mars is going to be in Aries for 6 months, the whole second half of the year. It's the numerological year of the Emperor. It's a 4-year, which is Aries, which is about autonomy. Chiron, which is the wounded healer, asking us, showing us where we're going to do the deeper shamanic work. That's Chiron, is in Aries, the sign of autonomy. Eris, goddess of discordia, definitely in the fray with her square to Pluto and Saturn right now, asking us to be autonomous, to know thyself, right? That's the imperative for our whole life. But right now it's like the stakes are really high and it's like no time to waste, right? I mean, we can't procrastinate anymore with all these planets. I mean, if we count the asteroids, I think there's 8 in Capricorn now with Melanie Reinhardt's work on, I don't know how to say that asteroid, but I actually saw this on another astrologer's talk on the asteroids in Capricorn. I know that I thought it was interesting because that's not one that I work with, Charlico, I think it's called. But of course we've got Ceres, and I do work with Ceres in Capricorn, the South Node, Jupiter, Saturn, of course, Pluto, Sun, Mercury. It's a lot of Capricorn energy right now. So we're all being called to really do the Saturn work, which is discipline, structure, integrity or integration work, simplifying, streamlining. Capricorn does not like waste, especially Saturn does not like us wasting time, wasting resources. So this is really an opportunity for all of us to think of what the essentials are right now and what the priorities are going forward, right? And how to best use our time and resources. And I posted on a recent Instagram post that I think time is our most precious commodity at the moment, and what we do with our time is so telling, and it's everything right now, really. So I hope that you're all feeling a lot of powerful insights emerging during this full moon lunar eclipse and Saturn-Pluto merger. I'll be back with another update on the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and I hope that you guys will all join, if you haven't already, the free 2020 marathon that I am participating in. I'm one of the inner guide circle leaders for the Astrology Hub. They're doing a 2020 epic forecast marathon, and it starts tomorrow, January 9th. So it's very exciting. And the day before the big eclipse. So I hope you'll join. I'll put a link below this video so you can definitely get registered. It's free. And even if you can't watch it, you can register so that we can get the playback, access to the playback video. And thank you so much for watching this video and for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it, and I hope you'll share this with anyone who is interested in astrology, and especially the interest between astrology and psychology, because that's my specialty. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful eclipse.